No dying.
Yeah, cough, cough. Sorry. Um, you guys could travel on foot, or you do have a perfectly serviceable carriage ready to go that someone could drive. It's entirely up to you guys.
Uh, hmm.
Well, I have no say in it, as you might imagine.
Wait. I forgot
Yeah,
what
you're not there yet.
Yeah. Are you like I thought we just? Oh right, we switched your character off, didn't we?
Yeah, he's got a new character.
Uh,
I'm a wizard!
So, not everybody at once, walk or carriage.
uh,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that in Dungeons and Dragons there are some difficult choices that need to be made.
yeah, I know. We're trying to be like quiet and stuff, right?
Well, I don't know. That's up to you guys.
Well, I say that, but we have the dude as a flag.
I
Can
mean,
we mount the troll flag, or can we mount the dwarf flag on our carriage?
the gnome. Yeah, I'm
No.
sure you could come up with a way to do it.
Did he have like any type of like musical instrument accompaniment?
What did you just say?
Cause I'm kind of like, I mean, if we're gonna do this, we need to go full out, man. Like, have it like a parade and everything.
Wasn't yeah, like Brandy's right. Like, weren't we gonna? God damn it! Weren't we gonna have him come in and go in and bring them out to us?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
probably on foot would be better. We'll hold the flag.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you guys take off traipsing to the west, heading towards the mountain. Brandy, Brandy specifically, because she's fairly experienced with travel in this region. You figure that you've probably got the better portion of a day to hit the true mountainous area, passing through the foothills and whatnot. And your captive gnome, the one who decided, fuck, I don't want to get tortured like that, um, can confirm that it's on foot. You'll get there just about dark. The good news is this area isn't known for being overly dangerous. It's a little far south for any of the raiding bands of orcs or whatnot and goblins that might frequent the mountainous areas here on the west side. Um, as you guys are traveling, you do notice coming in from the south, one of the infrequent southern storms seems like it's going to pass through soon. It's just this rolling line of purple and gray clouds, similar to like a storm front coming through. Um, if anybody would like to make a nature check to ascertain how quickly it's going to hit,
I believe our resident rock.
well, yeah, you're going to lure them out group by group, but you're still like a day away from them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Our resident rock's got the nature check.
The storm's coming, probably sometime today.
I could try a nature. No, mine's -1. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll try it. It's not very
Yeah.
high.
There you go.
Yeah,
The
14
lightest
good enough.
one.
Leave it to the holy paladin.
Well, he's a Tempest Paladin. He's a little more connected to storms.
Yeah.
Or a Tempest Cleric, sorry. Um,
Close enough.
Scout just doesn't give a crap. It's just water.
Come sometime.
Why is the sky leaking? I feel like I must fix this.
No, Nevatash and Cassidy, you're right. There's a pretty good chance you guys will be in the shelter of the foothills before the storm comes through. Those of you native to this area, Johnston, you, Scout specifically, have dealt with these storms a few times, and you know that while they're infrequent, they tend to blow through hard, like extraordinarily hard, for around an hour or so before they peter Think very short-lived hurricane.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not the kind of thing you want to get caught with outside. Um, uh, but you're fairly certain you'll make it into the shelter of the mountainous region and should be able to find some kind of shelter before it becomes dangerous out here in the open. It does kind of cause everybody to pick their pace up subconsciously just a little bit. Um, but in general, the day progresses without too much fanfare. The gnome who's kind of somewhat guiding you in that general direction is very quiet and reserved, just kind of keeping to himself, just answering questions that might come to him with short answers. He seems to be contemplating his life choices during the journey. Because you should have two copies, the old and the new. Did I not give you the access to the new one? Oh shit! Yeah, it would help if I gave you access to the new ones, wouldn't it? Hold on.
Wait, was that everybody or just her?
No, just her. I
Whoopsie.
updated her. I updated her to an updated version of the Ranger, and forgot to actually give her access to the updated versions of the character sheets.
How
Updated
can you
Ranger.
live with yourself?
With now with more confusion.
All right, Brandy, you should be good.
Scott, look at the last spell that I took.
Oh lord.
The one at the very bottom of my level 4 list.
Yeah. Shit, you get fours already? Yeah, you do, don't you? Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
The academic gave me like 7 new spells. It was great.
um, did you get access to the new character sheets, Brandy?
Yes, she did.
Nope. No. LOL. Yes, me. When I did the conversion, I just didn't want to erase anything on the old sheet that I might not have copied over completely correctly. So, um, but either way, you guys make it into the foothills where the travel slows a bit due to the difficult and rough terrain and having to follow the directions of your captive. But he leads you guys on deeper into the mountains to a small, well, relatively small. The carts, the carriage could have made it through, but it would have been tight in certain areas. Kind of a little pass between a couple of cliffs. Um, would be prime ambush site, but the height of these is so high that it'd be kind of ridiculous trying to drop anything on anybody. Um, but just about the time you guys enter this kind of sheltered area inside the mountains, not 30 minutes later, you can feel the wind start to kind of whip through and the rain starts to pelt down in sheets as that storm passes overhead. Um, it does reduce visibility to almost nothing while the rain is coming down. Um, I don't know if you guys would like to continue to try to travel through this weather or try to kind of hunker down and deal with it.
If we choose to travel, would it be a disadvantage or?
It would be slow and very much disadvantaged to spot anything. It's that driving rain that just breaks visibility down to like 10 feet.
Uh, hmm.
Even even in this mountain pass, there's enough of it, hitting from overhead that it's just kind of spraying all over the place. Nice inch of water on the ground below you, rises up pretty quick, but never seems to get much higher than that.
My thoughts to hunker down then. Like we don't know what's in front of us.
Okay.
Whatever. What? There's anybody else have any thoughts?
I'm cool with that.
Yep.
Um,
Brandy, if you agree, don't say anything.
Well, I was muted, so she didn't get a chance to actually say that anyway. But now she can.
She agrees now. Why no? Because she didn't say anything.
It's not fair. I'm not even looking.
Well, you guys kind of shelter under an outcropping of rock. Just it doesn't keep all the rain off, but it keeps it to a minimum. It's been about an hour um, watching lightning flash in the sky and feeling the rock around you reverberate with these thunderous, thunder strikes. Um, and you can actually see um, dust and small pebbles kind of raining down from the heights above. Um, Synthors. Oh God. Oh my fucking God.
Is that the sound of a door?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was.
that was pretty
I have
creepy.
a sleeping baby on me. Can you go check that out?
You take no, I'm joking. Uh, you take 2 damage from a falling rock. And it's cannon right now. Um, but in general, you spend about an hour being miserable, huddled up, watching as the storm passes, and then finally it begins to abate. The fury of the front has passed over, um, and has led into a much gentler rainfall. It still obscures your vision for a long range spotting, but you're pretty good within about 100, 120 feet. Just kind of a calm summer storm, though the ground below you is still got about an inch of water on it. Not enough to really impede movement, but it's enough to kind of make you a little more careful as you place each footfall. The gnome in your charge, who I've never bothered to name, says the entrance is only about another hour and a half down the pass. You guys head that way?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. He leads you down about an hour and a half down the pass and stops at what looks to be just a solid wall. This area does widen a bit, kind of a natural widening. It goes from like a single cart path, and for about 100, 120, maybe 150 feet, it widens up enough where you could feasibly get 2 carts by. And he heads to a wall on the northern side, kind of leads you guys over there and quite just kind of kicks a handful of rocks at the wall, and you can see a number of them actually pass through what seems to be an illusion that hides an entrance.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do? He kind of nods and says, "This is the entrance to the tunnels. We've got a little bit of ways to go before we hit the right valley."
Scout.
Yeah, no, it's hard call, but I don't
Yeah.
want to see about sensing arcana first, just to see if something's. But I do not have
Sorry,
that.
we had to put child to bed.
Okay.
It's 6:44. I didn't mean to.
I'm telling you, the sessions at 2:30. Give them all a shot of Nyquil at 2.
I'm telling you, right? I, that's what my granddad used to do with me when I wouldn't shut up. Rub a little whiskey on my lips. Good to go. Baby drunk. Baby very drunk.
That explains an awful lot about you, Tori.
You watch your damn mouth. Oof.
Okay. You might have to explain what's actually going on.
Currently, you guys are standing in front of the wall of a mountain, kind of a sheer up and down cliff face. It's somewhat rough, but probably a little smooth for free climbing. as the gnome captive you have has kicked some pebbles through what's obviously an illusion of some kind. I'm waiting to see how you guys want to enter the illusion. He also mentions that this is the entrance to the tunnels. There's about another hour of travel to hit the valley where the
Your butt.
meeting place is. Does Scout want to scout?
Yes.
Scout would like to scout.
All right. Scout, you step forward and kind of gingerly step through the illusion, and it does lead into a surprisingly perfectly circular tunnel that is about 15 feet all the way across, about a 7-foot diameter. And it's round all the way down through the floor. It's not a flat floor. It's perfectly circular and leads off into the darkness. I don't remember if you have dark vision or not.
I think so.
Yeah, I can't ever remember. I think we're fortunate.
Shut up.
Looks like she's familiarizing herself with all the things on her character sheet.
Sorry, what did he ask me?
If you
Uh,
had dark vision.
I said I answered that question.
yeah, she does. I don't think it heard you.
Um, all right, so yeah, you can see a good 60 feet into the tunnel, and it just seems to kind of go on into the darkness.
Into the darkness.
Is everybody else going to follow?
Yeah,
Fuck is going on?
Go behind her. Do we have a map, or we're just still here?
No, not of the tunnel.
Okay, I know where it's just.
Matter. This is just
I gotta move something.
descriptive text to get to the next section.
Hmm.
Yeah, you guys set off traveling with Scout in the lead, whatever light sources might be needed for those who don't have dark vision. Um, um, someone keeping an eye on the gnome as this tunnel heads straight north, and I mean dead straight. There's not any veering or variation in the direction that it moves for probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 or 600 feet. It's really hard to tell the full distance because once you've gotten to a certain point, you can no longer see the entrance, and there's not an exit in sight. So it's you almost feel lost even though you're not moving. It's almost like that dream where you're running away from the bad guy and going nowhere.
The bongo drums with the feet moving off.
Yeah. But it eventually leads off into a much wider chamber that breaks out into a large kind of cylindrical space that is kind of dead ended here. It's 30 feet across from side to side, perfectly circular cut. There are some in the center of the room. There is what a pedestal or a lectern of some kind. Though it's hard to get details unless you approach. And the ceiling of this chamber just kind of falls away above you. You can't actually see far enough to see where it ends. Both, Johnston. You're in the base of a gigantic rock penis.
There you go.
Nice.
It's gonna be hard to get out of this one, guys.
The gnome speaks up and says the pedestal over there has the controls, but doesn't say any more than that.
Guess we gotta give him the big stiffy. All right, do we want to push the pedestal, look around, whatever, guys? I'm ready to go for this. Or unless Scout wants to push the pedestal. Does she want to push the button? Yes, Scout does.
Scout does the thing. Yeah, you step over to the pedestal, and you couldn't see it from the side you came in, but on the far side of the pedestal, it just looks like um, a big kind of metal contraption that actually goes kind of down through the floorways. And on the far side of the pedestal, there's some gears and a big lever, the kind with the grip you've got to pull before it unlocks. Good old fashioned steampunk lever. Do you pull the lever?
What happened? Run, Baba!
All right. Brandy pulls the lever. Everybody roll me 46.
4d6. Okay. Ooh.
All right. Now do it again. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm hoping somebody caught that joke.
Kinda right. Well, I guess no. 46 average, barely above average. Good lord.
I got
Yeah.
17.
Yeah, it was the roll 46 six times. Let's see what your new characters are going to look like. No, as Scout grips the lever, and it takes a little bit.
I want you to go on my computer, set the text box to Scout, and then have Scout say, "Why do we even have that lever?"
Well, they hard you, so.
Oh, then
Yeah, I was joking. I was hoping somebody would catch the joke. But Scout pulls the lever, and you guys feel a kind of thunk underneath you, and a rumbling sound as the floor below you vibrates and begins to slowly rise.
do I need to do the kids thing?
What?
Oh, never mind. Someone already did.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Johnston, I know that you was the torch.
It was there, man. It was there.
Damn it. I'll be AFK for just a sec, guys.
All
All
right. No worries.
But the floor below you rises and begins to slowly ascend
Little bit. Get down.
and rises for around 100 feet or so.
Oh my God. He's a chihuahua.
Before coming to a stop in at the apex of this cylinder, which kind of comes to a conical point in the mountain above you, and there are on either side there are two more to the north and the south, taking your readings, your bearings off of the pedestal in the center in the direction where you entered this lift. There's two more of those same weird circular tunnels, one leading north and south, and your little gnome captive just kind of half-heartedly starts walking toward the north and kind of waits for you guys, about 5 feet away. He's not trying to escape. He's just like,
This way, tall ones.
This tunnel runs for another, I'd say about 150, 200 feet before it opens up into a valley between the mountains, kind of a secluded little area full of trees and grasses. This tunnel exits near the eastern side of the valley, and it seems to go on to the west. You guys go ahead and make perception checks for me as you're looking around, please. Those of you that are, here.
The Chihuahua situation has been dealt with.
All right.
Now tacos.
Yesterday was National Taco Day.
I wish it was National Taco Day right now.
Now all I can see is a freaking chihuahua in a taco costume. But Torch and Devatash, you can see off in the distance to the west, kind of through the valley itself and through the forest. You can see distant lights because it has become night by the time you guys make it out of this. especially coming into a valley that's probably wouldn't quite be dark on the flatlands, but here in the valley, the mountains are hiding the sun much earlier than would normally happen. So this whole little area is quite dark. Uh, Good nighttime vibe. But you can see lights kind of poking through some of the trees to the north. And your little gnome friend says the keep is that way. We ride. Yeah. Okay. We only do that if you can hold the and amigos for as long as he did.
That's been a while.
It's one of my favorite.
Hey, Macarena.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Fucking love that movie.
So like the wind. Okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Scott. That was mean. Although I do have to just this little side thing. Has anybody seen the Reddit post where you have the two morbidly obese people trying to ride a horse and the horse can't stand them, so it goes up a cliff and dumps them both? Like the funniest thing I've
I
ever
haven't, but can you please link me later?
I will try to find it because it made my day.
It will make my entire week, bro.
I'm back.
All right.
But
I'm
Is there a hotkey for the mute button?
there's a push to talk option.
Yeah, there's that.
Oh, good plan. Hold on.
Give me a second. I'm pulling you guys out into the new map. Oof. All right. As we're walking through this area, who's got what for light sources? Drake, you've got dark vision now, right?
I've got devil sight.
Which is actually better than dark vision.
Yep.
Man, dark vision for now.
And I've got a light cantrip burning. You shall me.
Well, who all has dark vision? I know Smidge
I don't
does.
think I do.
Nevatash doesn't.
Pretty sure I don't.
Okay, then you will need a torch.
I think I still. I'm gonna have my torch, right? Torch is right here. He has never left me. Actually, no, I don't have one torch in my thing, but.
Well, do you want to carry a torch, or does Nevatash just want to, use light cantrips on somebody?
Light cantrip. All day long. Everywhere has all the light.
Yeah, because I don't think that's concentration.
No, it is.
It's got like a duration and it's a cantrip.
Yeah, I think it's just an hour whenever you cast it. Yep. So you want to toss a light on you and Digby so that you guys can see?
Yep.
Okay. I think that's everybody that's here currently. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very quickly, I'm going to pop into another room with. Very quickly, I want to pop into another room with Anthony so I can let him know what's going on, and then I'll be right back with both.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
I
all right.
cast fire.
Who say what?
I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear what you actually said. You heard I cast
I
something.
said I cast fireball.
Well, that might come in handy in a minute. You never know. As you guys traipse through the woods, it's fairly obvious as you start to get closer that there is some kind of large keep or castle ahead of you. And you guys, I'm going to assume, would prefer to stealth up and get a good look.
Sure.
Everybody, roll me stealth check.
Scout is currently saying, "Wait."
No. Hold on.
They don't love you like I love you. Wait.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
My thing's like timing out. Give me a second.
Ha! That's amusing.
That was stealth.
42 and Scout are like in sync right now. They're like doing synchronized crab walks right now.
Would you please take yourself off a torch, Tori?
That torch. That's one spooky torch.
Spooky torch.
The torch is like, I try to hide. It goes out.
I approve.
I will straight up give you the stats of an animated torch. We'll go full Beauty and the Beast. But only if you can pull off the cheesy French accent. Anyways, I'm still waiting on some stealths from some folk. Oh, he's AFK. That's right. We'll just assume he did okay.
Oh, wait. Would I roll perception to see if I can see them?
No, not necessarily. This is
I got a 16.
16. Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you, and just because I forgot to actually find one, because I'm an idiot. This will work.
Part of me wants to make this torch like sometime, like you need to make this like an end boss sometime. It just like the random swerve. It was
Just
me,
make him one of the BBEGs.
Exactly. Give it AC 35. Like, oh god.
Currently, what you see before you is and I'm not sure exactly what you guys can see because, you guys can see a little bit with the light. What you see in front of you is the front walls of a keep or castle. You can see stonework buildings kind of rising over them in the distance. There are a couple of gnomes up there manning some ballista and just kind of routinely manning the wall here. But there is a carriage slowly coming out of the front gate. And as you guys are kind of set there, I'm going to, fair warning, guys, I'm going to go into a bit of a narrative here. So, and just shits and giggles, I'm going to move you guys kind of under the tree. So you're hidden. As you're walking through the narrative, you guys, everyone, there's no checks in this. You hear this absolutely thunderous, ripping sound come from the sky above. Just, it's this horrible, like rending of flesh, ripping sound that flies through the air. At the same instant, the wind starts to pick up. And the tree around you starts to move, and the torches start to flutter, and the horse goes wild. And
which is the cow.
Yeah. Aracel, as soon as that thunderous noise blasts above you, sitting where you're at, because you feel a familiar presence appear right on top of you. You know what I mean?
Okay. He immediately like right on top of me?
Like this area, yes, just appears, bam, kind of like what's been happening while you've been here over. But those have all been further north. This one literally just appears right on top of.
Okay, he silently prestidigitates his little map, kind of like within his robe, and like
Yeah.
look. He does one of those high school kids, like going into his shirt.
You're not going to have
Phone.
time before the next thing happens because it's literally a split second before shit hits the fan.
Okay,
Kind of moving in slow mo here.
well
So
that's what he wants to do, and
yeah,
that's what he's going to do before.
you kind of start and it appears, and then all hell's about to break loose. Inside the party under the tree, Cassidy, stronger than anything you've ever heard, your patron immediately screams in your mind to drop. I mean, piercing headache scream. You recognize the voice and the contact, but it's never come through like this before. Nevatash?
Yeah.
This is the first time you've ever heard or seen of anything happening like this. But your patron spirit, who we've never really dug too deep into, actually manifests from your body and flies across the rest of the party, knocking them flat. Just spreads out this kind of crackling electrical feeling, kind of hits at everybody. Not like a massive shock, but just that kind of vibrating buzz as everyone is knocked flat on their ass, and somewhat uh, um, held down. You almost feel like you're being pressed into the ground because no sooner does everybody go down than all utter hell breaks loose in this area. The wind whips down, almost coming straight down on the ground over this entire valley. The tree you guys are hiding under uh, um, tries to hold on as the wind whips the breeze in the trees, but it eventually breaks free and blasts back away from you guys. The carriage, the horse breaks free from the carriage, and both kind of crumble over here to the side. Aracel, make me a dex save, would you?
Yeah, the minute Aracel sensed this type of thing happening, he immediately just went shit.
Yeah, it's about how much time you had. But go ahead and roll me a deck save as the cart kind of rolls on the ground for a little ways before coming. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so you will take half damage. So you're only going to take 6 damage from being bludgeoned around inside the cart as it rolls and hits. You do hear the horse breaks free and kind of goes galloping off as the cart rolls to a rest. I'm going to stick you here in the area that the cart is in. I clicked on the wrong thing, damn it.
What was my quote unquote captor? What was his name? Did I ever?
Yes, and I have it. Nixum. Nixim, he called himself.
Nixum? You said.
Yes.
He shouts like Nixum. What happened? Where are
He's
you?
not in the cart with you. He was just sending you on the way.
Oh, my bad. Never mind.
Yeah. You had, one driver, a couple of guards that probably aren't on the cart anymore because they weren't even in it with you. They kind of locked up everything and rode on top. So, and it rolled a time or two that you can tell. Those of you guys under the tree, it's this massive tornado force winds come blasting through. Some of the torches that were lighting uh, the wall falter and fail. You hear a scream as one of the gnomes is thrown off and actually kind of rolls over near you guys in a heap. Uh, no longer breathing as far as you can tell. Through all of this, that kind of light shock and sizzling of Nevitash's patron kind of harnesses you guys to the ground where you're not kind of flying all over the place. Um, um, and then, as quickly as the wind hits, um, and whips through, and it's just a few bare seconds that the wind blasts through like that, and then all of a sudden it's gone. It just dies, and you're back to the normal, somewhat peaceful, somewhat drizzling night that you'd had before. Uh, Drake, your headache kind of finally subsides as your patron had been kind of in your head, thrumming this whole time, and that somewhat shocking that vibrating feeling releases you all, and you're able to gather your feet. There are trees down everywhere. The cart has been thrown to the side, and there's a uh, there's a purple hat kind of poking out of it at the moment. It's broken open where you can get out if you need to. Um, there's shouts from inside as people are moving around and kind of freaking out about what's going on. Though the walls seem to have held up fairly well, and nobody's looked out to really notice you guys yet, but you are exposed. What do you guys want to do?
Hmm.
So this is all just open land then, right?
Yeah, there's a bit of a forest behind you, but a good chunk of it just went away. So it's going to be difficult getting back out of here. Scout kicks coursed.
You see one of the doors on the cart gets booted open by what seems to be a purple shoe, and out steps a very extravagant purple robed individual with a long brown beard, and essentially he looks like a kind of pallid human. He steps out and goes, "Ooh, Earl, you all right?"
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And he sort of looks around and he takes
yeah,
out his hand.
you can see this group of individuals that was hiding under a tree has just kind of getting up from the detritus of the leaves and limbs and branches everywhere. We've all seen video footage of what hurricanes and tornadoes look
He definitely he doesn't really pay attention to anything else that's happening around him, not even the individuals over in the trees. He immediately takes off his hat, pulls out his little his one of his scrolls of parchment, ink, and a quill, and he starts jotting down precisely what just happened and logging
Yeah.
The aftermath, as it were.
And also, Aracel, just to let you know, your spell book is still technically locked in that case. It was just in the cart with you.
Okay, yeah, he's planning on grabbing that in a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Brady, you are still kind of sparking a little bit, though it didn't do any serious kind of damage or anything. It seems something major just happened over this area. Um, what do you guys?
Guess we get up and start surveying the area. I look at Nevitas like, what the fuck was that?
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You mean that was you?
Well, like it was pretty obvious as it like kind of it came from him, right? Like we could see that happen, right?
Well, no, the storm didn't come from him. Something came from him and knocked you asses flat.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the pagan
Yeah.
spirit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking about what hit us. I'm talking about what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's like I know you like slap and
Yeah.
tickle, man, but come on, give me some warning first.
Let us slap a tickle.
I think you may not be at your mic, man. It's kind of
Can you hear me now?
yeah. It just
Okay.
you
There we go.
had it on your head or something.
Yeah, it was pointed up.
Gotcha. No worries. All right, so surveying the area. Scouts, you all right? You're not. Well, you're sparking, but
Okay. While you guys are kind of looking around to kind of see what's going on, one of the gnomes on the wall, because they're doing the same thing. Um, you can hear him shout in gnomish, intruders, as he points out in your direction and goes to step behind this ballista that's sitting up there in the corner.
Oh hell.
fucking a.
Aracel doesn't even acknowledge. He's still jotting down notes.
Do we have vision of this ballista at this point, or?
Yeah. There's still some torches going up there that managed to survive the heavy wind. You're at least rekindled just after, kind of the flickering and came back on kind of thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and get an initiative roll for everybody. I am testing some new APIs, so. Oh, damn it.
Before the
Damn it. Somehow I knew
before
that was
the
gonna happen.
Torchy is OP.
can Aracel click his staff before the combat, because he's honestly he looks up from his notes
You
for a
said
second.
you were sitting there taking notes, Bubba.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, I'm not in the single digits this time.
Initiative roll. Ooh. I thought I selected my dude, didn't I?
I don't know.
Don't you know?
I can't see when you select the character.
Gosh, I thought you knew everything. Man.
I mean, I can add you to it. It's easy
Yeah, no,
enough.
I'm picking.
And you got 17.2 because, Scout never bothers to, actually select herself either. And
Yeah, I got a 22 and Brandy's keyboard raging.
When I think do I select myself? Oh.
I don't know what you're trying to say there, Brandy.
You take that back.
No, you're on there.
It changed my shit.
How did it change your shit?
Never mind, we're good. It changed it here. This part up here changed, but it kept it down here in the tracker.
Yeah, you rolled a 4.16. It didn't
No,
change
that
on
was
the.
42. That was 42.
You don't roll for 42 separately. We weren't supposed to be doing
She
that
did
in the
last
first
time.
place.
Oh.
Yeah, well, no, we were doing that horribly wrong. I've gone back and re-roll. 42 attacks when you give up an attack for 42.
What?
Until you
That's
get
how
extra.
it works. Though even then, you still give up an attack, one of your attacks to let 42 attack. That's the way it was back then.
Keep that fine.
What the fuck, dude?
Why is this? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
The fucking combat thing is not supposed to have timers. Yeah. Is everybody? I gotta make a thing where you guys don't have to actually click your tokens before you roll initiative.
I got a 25, by the way.
Okay.
I got a 22, but I forgot to select my token the first time.
I got a 438.
Thank you, love you.
Okay. Now we're in. Stupid fucking. Stop the damn timer. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see the little marker around yourselves, but in the chat window, you should have a. You might have to scroll up a little bit, but you have a done button. So when your turn is done, it will automatically go on to the next person.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
So does that
Yeah.
slow down when it's our turn then, I guess, or?
Yeah, it pops up whenever your turn comes up. You'll have a done button.
Okay, cool deal. Sounds
And I thought I had turned off all the freaking timers, and had not. But you're up first, Cassidy.
All right. Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, I think you're pretty well within range of these guys.
Oh yeah, it should be like two. No,
Yeah. Again, I'm still learning some of these APIs, so pardon me if some things aren't working like they're supposed to.
No, don't worry about it.
Let's see. That's going to be a 21 total.
Oh yeah, that hits.
For let's see. 15 total.
Nice. That does a chunk. You blast up at the gnome, and it blasts him, and your purplish greenish blast of eldritch energy smacks into his chest, and he staggers back for a second, but he is still up.
And again.
All right. I forgot to put the dead API in this one, but that's okay.
Let's see. 18 hit.
Yes.
And that's going to be for 10 total.
Oh, yeah. Easily enough. Easily enough. Yeah. He staggers from the first, and the second one, he disappears below the parapets. And then if you'll find done in the chat window, and on my screen, it centers it on whoever's turn it is.
I did the same on mine.
Yeah, mine too.
Ah, awesome. So it does what it's supposed to.
So let's see. Aracel, he sort of hears the sound of someone getting spanked by some magic, and he's like, "Oh, that sounds familiar." And he looks up from his notes, and he notices that combat has begun, and it seems that these gentlemen in the trees are hostile to these gentlemen on the walls.
Yeah.
And he goes to he kind of like looks over for a second. He knows that these are the guys that have he remembers from his last click of the staff that these aren't the most savory individuals, but he doesn't know about these new guys, so he does a quick tap.
Okay, that's an action, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're doing the good and evil, or?
Yeah, good and evil.
Well, there are no. I gotta remember that freaking spell now. Well, you're not detecting any of the individual types, and you're not actually close enough to get anything off of this group of people. Yeah, because it's only a 30-foot.
He sort of thinks to himself for a moment. He can't quite detect them yet, but it looks like he has a thought, and I'll type it to you. But for now, since I already used my action, I'll just stay where I am and end my turn because I haven't been perceived as hostile yet.
Where the fuck did that come? I don't know where the big typing thing came from, but oh look, it's this guy's turn. Oh, let's see here. He's gonna head over there 25 feet. Nah, keep clicking the wrong buttons.
Well, then stop clicking the wrong buttons.
He's going to head over there, casting a quick spell as a bonus action. And since you happen to be the closest target, who is chatting? Oh. Since Aracel happens to be the closest target, he's going to take a crossbow shot at Aracel.
But I haven't done anything.
They don't know that. Armor class 10 is not going to hit anybody, however. Doesn't hit anybody at all.
I'm sorry?
Uh,
By the way, so it looks like the timer's still going.
is it actually going?
Yeah, it's counting down on the
God
guy
damn it.
just before shit starts to flip.
But his second shot, because they have a special crossbows, AC 24 against you, Aracel. I believe that hits for
That'll
5.
shoot me in the back.
Yeah, that's going to hit you for 5 piercing damage and 4 fire as he fires a flaming crossbow at you.
Aracel looks behind him. He's like, "Boy!"
Yeah, give me just a second, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
I got to remember the command to pop open the config on this combat tracker. It would be config. Think of that.
Who?
Who'da thunk?
Timer config. Turn timer. False. Okay. Okay, this guy is dead, so we are going to just click done. Johnston, you're up.
All right. Let's see. Am I in range to?
Probably crossbows have a
Yeah, 70.
ridiculous range.
I'm gonna crossbow it up then. Where's my character dude? All right. Boof.
Damn.
Ooh, that I would hope that would hit.
Oh, let me scroll down. Oh, scrolled up. Yeah, that's a fucking critical hit, dude.
So 18 then damage.
Yes, yes. And that was the guy. This was the one you were aiming at.
Yeah, yeah. The other one was him.
Yeah. I just turned the fucking okay. Yeah, it blasts the ever loving crap out of him.
All right. I'm gonna still use my movement though, right?
Yeah.
All right. So one. Oh, can I change it? Select. Let's say 1, 2, 3. What? Why? Oh, the thing is still counting. So
Yeah, go ahead and do your move.
6. Okay, so about here. Yeah, because it's 30 and that's 5 per space, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that.
Okay.
And press the done button, I guess. Where's the done button? Done button.
Well, it already skipped you because of the stupid combat tracker and the
Timer. Yeah.
thought I had to. Yeah, I thought I got the timer turned off, but undoubtedly I did not. Let's see. These guys have 40-foot movement. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. He doesn't get it because not enough time this turn. But one of those iron dog-like creatures that you've seen fight alongside these guys comes flying through the gate and towards you, Johnston.
Gotcha.
Scout.
She is in progress of doing things.
I tell him I want to use my ability on my bow.
We heard him. Heard you.
Okay. Shit, monkey fuck. Where is that bow listed at? Oh, it's one attack against everybody in a 20-foot range, I believe. Which you guys should have access to a new. You should be able to move that, Brandy.
How?
That big template I just put on the map.
I can't touch it.
Did I not give it to everybody? Except for all players to control.
Technology.
Well, the token. I got it. Mm-hmm. Try it now. See if you can click on it to move that giant token now. Can anybody move that giant token?
Which? Oh, that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a 20-foot radius. All right, you realize that right there, you've got one target you can see.
She's also targeting the ballistas.
Oh, you want to hit the ballistas directly too? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so I believe that is one attack roll per each, and a grand total of 8d6 damage from that bow's ability.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like it's a fireball. Fireball does the same damage without having the attack rolls.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And at the time, we didn't have a blaster in the party. Not really. But we'll attack the gnome first. Yeah, that's a hit. That's not the right damage, but that's a hit. Go ahead and do your hits on everything, and then we'll do your damage. You just have to roll dice for it.
2, 3. Hey, crit.
Oof. Yeah, pretty much everything in your range is toasted. I don't know why you're rolling. You only had 3 targets.
Yeah. So those first 3, essentially.
Yeah.
And one of them was a crit.
Hit
She
the button
might
too many
be
times,
low
didn't you?
those ballistas.
I can see her over there. Push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button.
Keep going. Maybe you have to push it twice.
Oh, maybe she was targeting the torches.
All right. Go ahead and do the. It's 2 types of damage, but honestly, it's all the same to these guys. So just go ahead and roll the 8d6.
One time?
Yeah. 1 damage roll, bunch of attack rolls. It's easier that way. Well, it's easier that way on a table. But so we're just pulling that into.
I wanted that
All
way.
right. You guys watch as Brandy settles down and activates her bow, and this glowing kind of force shoots off from it, and kind of arcs over the top of this and kind of bursts like a firework, and thousands of tiny little arrows come flying out of it to shoot down into the ground below, as she basically completely and utterly decimates this poor gnome. He's utterly toast. As well as blasting the crap out of the ballistas and possibly disabling them completely because they're now covered in phantom arrows and whatnot as it all kind of fades. You do still have movement and whatnot.
Can I
Nah.
give my movement to my?
Can she give her movement to the 42?
No. 42, let's see. Let me get the thing open. Let me get your character sheet, those specific rules. Let's see here. There's a couple. They're big. And I think it's this one. Nope.
I think she found it.
Did you find it?
He's moving.
Thing keeps moving.
Oh, that's because I'm scrolling through too, trying to remember which one of these it is.
How dare you?
Then I'll just watch his
How
books.
dare you?
How can you do this to us?
Okay.
You sound like Bat Dad. Please tell me you seen Bat Dad.
Don't go to the store.
Crap.
Student, just go to the store. Can't protect you there.
Okay, let's see here.
what is it? Pam relations. Oh my lord.
Does it not actually talk about it?
Where's the catnip?
Oh shit, I was wrong. It does roll up for initiative in this one. I was completely wrong about that one. I was mixing the rules. What did you get for? He was the one that got the 4.
Mm.
He's
That
still
was
on
my
there.
that was my bad. So it's yeah, it's the coordinated attack one that I was thinking of, where if the companion can see you when you make an attack, it gets an attack as well. All right, so you were done then. Sorry about that, Brandy. Nevatash.
Okie doke. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, I'm saying new ranger. Who dis?
Who dis? Who dat? Who got the baseball bat?
Measurement.
All about the Benjamins. Doot, 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 doot.
All right. I'm going to come up here next to D. 5, 6. Then was 5.
I think I might have finally got the timer turned off.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah.
All right. Since I can't do anything about the guy up top, I'm going to smack the defender. With
All right, go for it.
Smack it in the face.
Two-handed style.
It's hammer time.
Do, 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 do.
Well, you hit it. That's
He's
all.
not a dragon. We should be all right.
Is his mace literally named Mule Knot?
Yes.
Yes,
This makes me happy.
it does me too. You slam down on this beast's kind of shoulder just behind the head, and it staggers for a second and kind of snarls and snaps back at you. A little bit of oil. You've done some damage, but it is by far not down. If you're finished, just click done.
Ooh. Actually, no. Okay, so I forgot because we just hit 8. He also takes a D8 of thunder.
Oh, yeah,
got
you
to
got that
activate.
extra. Yeah. Just roll it. Roll a d8.
And I will.
Yeah, this is that level where you get that extra, like once a round, something like that.
Yep.
All
So
right.
another 4 damage.
Yeah. So yeah, you smack him, and there's a thunderous boom retort, and he kind of staggers. He's still up, but
Okay.
is definitely damaged a little bit more.
And done.
Well, that guy's dead.
You done already? Be gone.
42.
Wait, didn't you say you can only give up a turn for her or whatever? Or?
No. I was two different ranger classes, and I was mixing the animal companion features from both into my head for some stupid reason. Probably because I woke up at 6:30 this morning on a goddamn weekend for no good reason.
Old people rock. Old
No,
people.
he's dead.
Do what?
Sorry, I don't know why I press push to talk to answer Randy's question.
Gonna smack that thing?
Smack that bitch up.
Oh yeah. That's a hit. And enough to destroy it. 42 runs up next to you, Johnston, and gives you a surprisingly human sneer as it gores the creature in front of you.
Hey man, that's the best jerky I've seen today.
Oh,
Don't let
My
anybody tell you
goodness.
you're not better than meat 42. You are the best meat.
Oh, I can't quite get to him. Aracel, you now have a slobbering, oil-filled, manic-looking construct of a dog nipping at your heels and coming right at you. But that is unfortunately all he can do because not enough. We're back to Cassidy.
Well, the one that just decided to show up and crash the party.
Actually, before we get there, Aracel, make me a perception check real quick, would you, while Cassidy's doing his thing?
23 hit.
Yeah, the one over on this guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Let me roll that differently. I don't know why I used the button.
Ouch. That's
What
going to
am
be
I doing? I have a
21
touch screen.
How much, Drake?
21.
Oh, dude, yeah, you just blasted that thing to smithereens. Um, like quite literally, you connected on the side of it just right.
That was terrible.
All right, that was a good enough roll. Aracel, you see a familiar contraption start to kind of lumber through. I think you've got a little bit of line of sight. Yeah. Kind of start to lumber towards the gates. Looks like it's going to be joining the fight very soon.
Aracel notices that. Did the dog in front of me just get murdered?
Yes. Yes,
By who?
Cassidy threw an eldritch blast at its ass and basically just shattered the back half of it to pieces.
He says, fellow academic, this might be pertinent information to you, but there is a giant hulking piece of machinery coming at...
That's all you can get out, and that's literally, you start talking and shit's still going on around you.
He was spouting exposition.
This is going to be a normal thing, isn't it?
Well, that was my free action. I'm doing something else while I'm doing that.
Well, it's not technically your turn quite yet. Cassidy's still got another blast of movement if he wants.
Yeah, he manages to get that much out.
I heard you say Eldritch Blast from his ass, and now I can't imagine Cassidy doing nothing but casting Eldritch ass.
Oh, God.
Eldritch ass.
To see this like purple butt flying through the air.
Yeah, what you doing, Cassidy? You still got movement and another attack. There is still a gnome up there firing a crossbow or getting ready to.
Then what? That's the one we'll go after.
Okay.
This one here.
All right. Go for it.
Well, first of all, am I in range of him?
You might be. That's got a decent range on that spell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, we're talking about that beliefs thing. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's like, oh yeah.
We're shooting at him.
All right.
Does a 15 hit?
Yes. Yes. Just barely, but yes.
$18 total.
Ooh.
That's a thing.
Not down, but by God, did he feel that one? He's not looking good. Got part of your freaking measurement stuck on my screen for some reason. Oh well. Aracel, you are up, and you can continue your.
Giant hulking piece of machinery coming at us right this moment. And then he turns around and he's like, you, sir, I don't feel that great about you shooting me. Have this. And he uses control flame to expand the flame on his arrow into his face.
Control flame. Let's see what. It's an interesting one.
It just allows me to expand. It just allows me to essentially control flame. And I thought of a creative use for it since he's using flaming crossbow. I just gout it into his face. It's a makeshift burning hands, essentially.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between a flame, doing some damage, and a spell that's blasting things out.
I'll be AFK for just a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even see a
Well,
control
I mean,
flame. Oh,
does
there
it?
it is.
Yeah, does it? Is this a thing that would be effective? I thought it would be effective.
Oh yeah, it'll be effective in some way. It just may not be as powerful as like a cantrip designed to actually blast somebody.
Well, I'm conserving. Well, I could have just done tilt chill touch, but where's the fun in?
Yeah.
I decided since he shot me with a flaming arrow, I would give him a taste of his own garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Randy is asserting your authority.
Call that a knife? That's a knife.
Yeah, it's like, you call that a flame arrow? This is a flaming arrow, and he shoots it back in his face.
Better Australian accent.
I'll tell you what. I will give him a dex save versus your spell DC, and we'll see how that goes.
Go for it.
What is your spell DC?
15.
I rolled a 16. So while the flame does kind of lick over him, he managed to stick his head out of the way, and it doesn't seem like it does any real lasting damage to him.
Well, screw you too, dice rolls.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Yep.
I just got a 16.
Or ask Richard on our other one. Like every time he swung with a sword.
The first time.
The first time.
All right. This guy is. He is going to take a single shot, not at Aracel, but at. This is range 80. That's my range. Look at that. At Cassidy. Going to take a couple of shots at Cassidy because Cassidy just blasted the ever loving fuck out of him. AC 18 Cassidy for 6 points of damage and piercing damage and another 5 points of fire. And his second shot only hits AC 8, so no. With that, leave. Nope, that's one action. With that, he is going to turn tail and start trying to make his way to this tower over here on the right. And then he will be done. And that guy is dead, so he will also be done. Johnston.
Alright, so I guess he's not in our vision side, is he?
No. Whatever Aracel was speaking of hasn't poked around. He's still behind the wall.
No, I'm talking about the dude that ran away.
Can you see him? Because I don't think, yeah,
No, I can't see
he's
him.
kind of ran off into the darkness. You just don't have the.
Alright, I'll start moving up then. 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so
Yeah, I forget this is a dynamically lighted. Now you can see something around that wall.
yeah, I can see it.
Yes, that is precisely what I was talking about.
I'm kind of picturing that Indiana Jones moment where he runs around the corner and goes, "Ha!" and then runs away.
He pretty much.
He did that in Star Wars too.
Well, I still have an action by even with my movement, right? I guess I could see it because I can shoot it then.
You can. He's going to have. He's going to be a little harder to hit because of the angle of the wall that you're at.
So it'll be disadvantage or.
Yeah, when I did the dynamic lighting here, I did it down the middle, so you guys could see on the top. But he's technically he's going to have cover.
Gotcha.
So no, not a disadvantage. It just affects his armor class.
Understood. Well, I mean, it's better than doing nothing. So.
Hey, yeah, you might hit.
Let's just see. Where is it at? It is boop. Probably now.
No. Unfortunately, that just kind of bounces off the wall you were trying to shoot by and skitters off into the darkness.
I got heavy crossboned.
Basically, yes. Basically.
Heh.
I'm gonna start deducting experience for every pun. If you're finished, don't forget to click done.
Oh, we're gonna D-level, guys.
I do not think I am finished.
Okay. Huh?
I'm American, not Finnish.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Scout, you're up. Currently, I do not believe have any visible targets, but Johnston definitely just shot at something around the wall.
And you also heard Aracel's description.
You, yeah, you've got that much movement. I believe that would give you line of sight on whatever it is. It's another one of those Warforged golems. You know, the amalgamated parts.
We have to zoom out so I can stop kicking out of thing. There we go.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at the zoom levels. I have to keep this thing
Oh, I'm
zoomed out too to
sure.
see.
Yeah, well,
I,
especially with it
I,
panning between characters.
Yeah. Oh, 13 unfortunately does not hit Brandy. It just you skip by the wall with an expertly placed shot because you ignore cover, but it just kind of bounces off the armored plating of this thing. You do have a secondary shot though. That one will hit. That one places a nice arrow in its shoulder, uh, buries itself up to the fletchings, doing some damage, but the creature doesn't seem overly phased. Yeah, okay.
Randy, there's a copy waiting for your approval in DM for the token.
Some thought of the day. I suddenly want to see a Warforged Sentinel.
Yeah, okay. You
Let's-
read
A war fridge.
okay, let's see here. Hmm. You are so lucky, Tori. Steps right up to you, but doesn't have enough movement to actually make attacks this round.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Aren't you glad?
Yep.
Nevatash.
Okay. Alrighty, let's see. Is far away. Perfection.
What you doing?
Moving straight up to him, and we're gonna go with another two-handed swing of Mule Knot.
All right.
Tab over to my character sheet and swam.
Ooh.
Why is it? Ooh. Oh,
Yeah, that fucking blasted it. Um, are you adding your thunderous damage?
yeah, that it's got the thunder damage on it.
Oh, you got it added in. You
Yeah.
only get to add that. Just remember, you only get to
Yeah,
add that one attack around, though. That's all you fucking get. So,
Yeah.
20 points of damage you blast into this thing with a nice, well placed smack right to the chest. Bits of metal and armor kind of blast out from there, and you can see sparks start to fly, but it staggers for a moment and is still standing ready to go. Don't forget to click done.
Oh yeah. And that's
I'm just taking this guy off of the initiative. 42. Oh. Oh, 42 gets a 1. Sorry. Just can't quite find enough purchase with the antlers to get any real damage done to it.
The sound of her antlers scraping against the metal plays My Heart Bleeds for You.
Oh. Oh, God. Johnston, you take no. Uh that's all for 42. Don't forget to click done. Trying to get you guys to the habit.
Okay, 42's just distracted because he knows he's about to get a makeup.
Are you done, Brandy? Ah, there we go. And that guy's dead. Cassidy! Giant monstrosity of a golem just stepped through the gates.
Yep, exactly. That thing. It's about time for our exterminate call.
I will update image, probably not in the middle of the game, but I
Yeah.
have it for next time.
All right. Everyone there?
We have all fled. It's okay.
So it is your go. So, giant monstrosity just stepped through the gates.
Oh, lovely. Well, obviously,
Yeah, kind of the last living, quote unquote, thing to.
and we would have people next to it.
Well, yeah, we're all melee, dude. You knew this when you signed up.
Well, it's going to come to a
Shame
point
on
where
the front line for being the
where
front line.
I'm just gonna kill you all.
Yeah,
It would be in character.
It would be. But
It would
21
take
to hit.
then I would haunt your nights with terrible puns.
That's
You
what you
already
think. 21 to hit.
Yes. Oh yeah, easily.
14 total.
All right. Still going strong.
That would be a 22 to hit.
Oh yeah.
And that's going to be 16 total.
All right. So 2 blasts of eldritch energy pulling off of its chest. Again, it kind of staggers a little bit, but still seems to be going strong. Aerosol?
Let's see. I take a second to assess its damage. What do I look? What do I see when I look at it?
He's well, okay. If you want to take a second to assess its damage, he's looking a little hurt. If you want to really get an idea, it's going to take an action to study it.
No. So if he's still going fairly strong,
Yeah, he's not about to fall. I'll put it to you that way.
I am going to polymorph him into a sheep.
All righty. All right. So you bust out your components or your focus, fly through, and you can see the magic of the polymorph fly out of your hands and run in and smash into his chest, and nothing happens.
Okay.
The spell just dissipates as it hits him. They have an ability. They are immune to any spell that would alter its form.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like definitely makes a mental note.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he resisted it. Seemed like the magic just kind of wrapped around him and fizzled.
Yeah,
But
all right.
You do still have movement and bonus, however.
Aerosol move. He moves like right there. He doesn't feel the need to get too close. He just
Yeah,
wants to get
blame him.
closer.
All right.
Oh, and he uses his bonus action to jot down a note that happens.
Okay. Quick. Whoop. Don't forget to click your done button. You might have to scroll up to see it. I'm trying to figure out how to leave a done button someplace for you guys.
Anchored or whatever, yeah.
This guy doesn't even bother to fire at anybody. He disappears into this tower over here. Well, those of you that can see him, he disappears into the tower there at the top of the wall. He seems like he doesn't want any part of this anymore.
That was a waste of a
I
four.
think I left the oven on. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Actually, never mind. It wasn't a waste because I gained knowledge as a result of
Mhm.
using it.
I just need to take that guy off. Johnston,
Okay.
big massive metal thing with ugly claws and shit is kind of staring at you.
Question.
Yes.
I would like to use my acrobatic skill to basically either slide from underneath him or kind of like wall kick, like Mario wall kick off the side to get behind him.
You know what?
Are you
I'll
trying
allow
to quick time event this man?
Kind of.
he wants to kind of get past him. Normally, you're not allowed to move through the space of an individual, but this guy's kind of large. There's some spaces you can get around, and it's cinematic. Go ahead and roll that acrobatics check, and we'll see if you can get past him or if you just end up flat on your ass right where you're at.
Gotcha.
Either way, he's going to get. Oh, God.
Motherfucker, you have to be kidding me. That was a natural one. God,
Believe
I've
it or
got a
not,
fucking 8 of that damn thing.
believe it or not, it's probably better that you failed that. Just saying.
Okay. You step forward, brandishing your scimitars or your cutlasses, getting ready to slide. And as you go to slide, you realize just a half a second too late that you have misjudged this and forehead right off of his dong.
Oh, lovely.
Ting! You are in the same square you started in as you fall back. You are now prone.
Okay.
Didn't take any of your movement. It will take half of your normal movement to stand, and you can still get your attacks. It doesn't ruin any of that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you basically just donged off his crotch and fell back in place.
Nice. Okay.
Aracel silently whispers to Earl Grey and Draconic, "Get a load of this guy."
All right, I'll use my movement to get up, and I'm not gonna move.
And just gonna go ahead and yeah.
I'll start using. So that was.
Hey man, it could have been awesome.
Yeah, it could have been.
It-
I was thinking if I could get behind him, then to get the freaking.
I know, I
advantage.
get you.
Yeah.
I still think it was awesome, and I'm sure some of the other players do, but you
I
might
still
not.
think it was awesome. Yeah.
Oh well, thank you. All right, so that means I only get one swing per sword. I don't get the bonus.
No, because that would have taken your bonus action. That was all just kind of part of your movement.
Okay.
You smacked and fell back and scrambled up real fast because you still had plenty of movement to do that with.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So you can still do your normal 2 attacks with your primary, and then the bonus action for your offhand from the 2 weapons.
Gotcha. Okay, so one. Oh.
There you go.
Jesus Christ!
That's where your other points went.
Right.
Oh my God!
Let's try that again.
Holy crap! Oh my God!
What the hell?
Oh my God! Hold on, let me catch up to this.
Oh my god, that's fucking.
Oh Jesus! And you've still got your offhand
I
attack.
know.
Do it, I dare you.
I'm waiting for him to
Do
catch
it.
up. He asked.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. What's it be like a 1? It's still
No,
an
okay.
8. I'll take that.
It was
It's
half.
still a hit. Still a hit.
Fuck, that's what. 20.
If you critted that, I'll be like, okay, I'm out. I'm not needed here anymore.
That's 35 damage right there.
Well, now we know metal dong to the face causes Johnston to attack well.
Wait, no. So probably what he
That's
donged off his crotch, and then the metal plating fell off because of the thick skull, and then he just started cutting at the.
No, you just hear me
Dude,
screaming.
that
Okay.
is
mental
you just-
note. when this fight is done, somebody grab that.
No, right.
he doesn't actually have a metal dong. He's just
Yeah,
got
No, I just
Yeah.
scream out after my
Teabag
embarrassment. It's I'm the only red pants. And just fucking beat the shit out of him.
Jesus. That was amazing.
It's
Like I'm screenshotting this shit because nobody's ever gonna believe me.
All right, and that's the end of my turn. Oh my god.
Yeah. Click done.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. It's its turn. Oh no, that's that guy. Never mind. He's dead. Scout, you're up.
She's asserting her dominance. I'll ask her what she wants to do, and I'll do it for her.
She's asserting her dominance. Not a good mental picture.
Right.
I just pictured her, standing over her husband who's handcuffed to the bed. So
You've been a very bad boy. Very, very bad boy.
2 crits in a row. Jesus.
I know, right?
That was well done.
I'm rolls, dude. What can you do? But
Well, it does help that you actually get crits on. Well, no, those are 2 natural 20s, but you actually get crits on 19s too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Jesus.
I went ahead and went the feats and I added got the extra point in dex. I think that's gonna be really nice for these stuff too.
Oh yeah, that helps. The first one hits, doing some damage. The second one,
Yeah, she just
unfortunately,
wanted to shoot twice.
yeah, the second one flies off. I'll hit her. Done. Payback time.
Yeah,
Digby, this is about to hurt for us.
yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm the target. Like, just
Oh,
I am
you
too.
are. Oh, yeah. Well, he can't reach you right now, Cassidy. So the target of his ire,
Oh no, I
as
know, I know.
it was the
as he
first one.
reaches back and goes to slam into you with two big, meaty or metallic fists. The first hit is for AC 26.
That's definitely a hit.
That is going to be
13 damage.
13 bludgeoning damage. And I need you to roll a Constitution save.
Okay. I would.
You're good.
Okay, we're good.
The second attack, AC 26 again
Yeah,
for
it's a hit.
16 bludgeoning damage.
So it's
Uh,
need to have to roll again to con save.
yeah, you're going to need another con save.
Fuck.
You're good.
Okay, we're good. Good. All right, so that's what 13, 16 is 29. Oh God, yeah, he almost did as much as I did to him. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, as he just barrels two big smacks. I rolled pretty good on those attacks too.
Yeah, I
But
got
as he just barrels two big fists into you and just kind of brings them down in a hammer blow and kind of staggers you back, you try to block, but it does no good.
yeah. Well, better on me than anybody else. So.
I
Nevatash?
don't know about that.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I guess you're tankier than I am.
Better on you guys than the squishies behind you.
This is true.
Yes.
Yes, please. I've already taken a hit from a carriage and a hit from a flaming crossbow bolt.
Okay, not necessarily for right now, but I do have a question.
Okay?
Would you consider the ability, like the thrown ability that the hammer has, as a weapon attack still?
Uh,
Where I throw it and it's all bah! It blows up.
let me check it. Just link the damn thing for me because that's a lot to read here. You know what? That's not your attack.
Yeah, no, that's not the.
Every time I see that meal.
No, technically it would be a spell attack because
Okay,
you're not really making an attack roll when you do that. They're doing saves.
just double checking because if that means if I do it, I can't use the divine or the
Right.
divine strike.
Right. Yeah, it's not a
We
weapon
are
attack.
going to go with a two-handed smack.
Okay.
on him.
Smack of the golem.
Smack in the face.
That actually hits. 11. Parts are starting to. Oh shit.
I'm going to pop a channel divinity and go ahead and boost that thunder damage up by. We're going to go ahead and bring it up to a 15
Okay.
total damage.
Okay. Parts are starting to fall off this thing. He's very much looking near death. That's the end for you.
Yes.
Scroll up and hit the 42's turn. I'm assuming 42 wants to gore it if Brandy's not back.
No, Brandy's back, and I do believe 42 still wants to go.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, those good rolls.
42 gores the shit out of it. Shit. Screen moved
That was a
before I done the
much
damage.
better looking headbutt dong.
Yeah.
Yes. It is looking very much damaged. Cassidy, you are up.
Okay, fireball it is.
He's just gonna fireball everybody.
No, I'll save that.
I say, do you need the template? I can get it out for you.
All right. Business as usual.
All right. That's
21
pretty.
to hit.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much Warlock, an Eldritch Blast machine until the stars align and you can do something else.
That's going to be for 13.
All right. You blast into this thing with the Eldritch Blast as that greenish energy blasts into its chest, and it again staggers back, but this time does not seem to recover. Its arms flail for a moment before it just tumbles and lands in a heap on its back, no longer moving. You have defeated the enemies.
You've solved my golem puzzle. Aracel conically whispers to Earl Grey, "Well, I did nothing that fight."
You observed and gained knowledge.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, Brandy, are you going to be retrieving the heads that you know are in the chest of this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. For Aracel, since you wasn't here for the last time you guys fought one of these, Scout rushes over and peels back the armor plating on the chest of this thing, and you can see as she's working on the inside trying to remove something that 3 warforged heads have been fused together in the chest of this thing with wiring and tubing and whatnot between the 3 of them. They're quite dead at this point, but that seems to have been the power source for this.
Aracel is like hunched over like her shoulder, observing what she's doing every step of the. Yeah.
Jeez. I'm just cleaning up some tokens.
Yeah, he desperately wants to see what's going on. He's like, ooh. And
Yeah.
he asks in an inquiry like, so what does that wire?
This guy's... Scout turns to punch the intruder. I can totally see that.
Well, someone knocked on the door, so she had to go over there. So essentially, the Warforged individual turns to punch him.
Yeah.
So I see a big old metal fist going through my face.
I will stop Scout.
You grab Scout real fast? Okay.
Yeah. Because while we don't know what his deal is,
he's not enough.
2, however, 1, he's not. 2, he also had plenty of opportunities to blast us in the ass while we were fighting the gnomes.
No, you could tell he was sort of trying.
We saw him yell at the gnome up top.
Yeah, he got shot in the back, and he was like, "Oi!"
So I know he is at least not an immediate threat. So
yeah, we got bigger fish to fry.
Yes, there are more important things for my spell slots, like Digby.
What's up?
When he sees the Warforged get the strange machine-like being get pulled back, he says, "Oh, my apologies. I did not mean to start."
We are going to go with a healing word at level 4.
Ooh. Big healing word.
Well, Aracel and Digby got hit.
Cool.
Oh, so you're doing the math?
Yeah.
You should probably actually cast the mass one and not the healing word one, then, shouldn't you?
Wait a minute.
Healing word is a single target.
Ah, shit. Then okay, yeah. Hold on.
There is a mass healing word that you might have access to by now, I believe.
Prayer of healing. That's the one I was thinking of.
That's the 10-minute cast.
Okay. Shit. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys want to take 10 minutes and regroup while he's working on a casting?
That's fine.
Yeah, Aracel takes the 10 minutes. He apologizes for startling the strange being, and he starts sort of like studying
There we go. That's
studying.
much more.
Gotcha. Would that count as a short rest or just 10 minutes?
10 minutes is not a short rest, no. But everybody that's damaged does get 21 back.
I'll take 21.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Higher level. There. Yeah, 21.
Sweet. Thanks, sir.
yeah. So
So
Aracel,
you
you
got
would have
21
gotten
health back.
21 back. We should probably hit Brandy in that too, just to top her off.
Yeah.
All right. Once everybody's back at the table,
Yeah, she's back. Essentially, Aracel almost gets punched, but the being got held back, and he does apologize for startling them, and then he starts asking them questions about essentially what here I'll roleplay it. Now, I am curious. I'm not sure I've encountered a being such as yourself.
I think you could say that about all of us, to be quite honest.
right?
Especially him.
Yeah. Don't worry about Magic Boy. He'll eventually throw some. He'll eventually fumble some throw. Ugh. I don't know what it is, but my back is killing me.
Pirate, remove the overly dressed.
Shit.
God damn it.
Oh, well, yes, I do so oppose my robes are a bit extravagant for this area of the world.
I mean,
It's just him, Randy, in the background. Oh my god.
I mean, is there a reason why you're quote unquote overly dressed, as this eloquent one has so stated?
Well, you see, these robes were made for me by my mother, and they allow me to feel quite comfortable no matter what part of the world I'm in. If this was a very high and very cold mountain, I would feel as if it was it's a nice temperate day, as it were.
So you're just a wuss then. Okay.
It's a magical overdress.
So you're a magic wuss. Okay. I mean, is this
If by magic wuss you mean wizard, then yes.
like a thing, Drake?
Just ignore him. He's upset because he got hit in the face with a metal dog.
Man. So what,
It even
Drake
made
is
the-
to you?
It even made the dong sound when it happened.
Now,
Yeah, just like,
I
like
would
this.
ask, since we are in a bit of respite, would anyone like some coffee?
Does this coffee include alcohol of any type?
You can add your own if you so fit, but for now, he takes off his hat and he pulls out several mugs for everyone, and he's like, "Earl, if you please." And you see his beard come off, and it turns into a tiny brown dragon, and the brown dragon proceeds to spray a brown liquid into each of the cups.
Yeah, count me out. You have fun with that, though.
Would you like some coffee? Blah.
Like,
That's kind of the image I have in mind because that's
exactly
kind of what
I'm
happens.
thinking. It's like Nevatash, do we at least have some of that work stuff that they had before? That looks more appetizing than this shit.
Oh, I assure you, it is quite the godly drink.
Sure. I'll take it.
Anybody brave enough to drink it? Johnston, you have drunk worse in this game.
Yeah, you see it. It's rather hot, and you see the strange wizard, who hasn't actually introduced himself yet, drinking like down that entire mug, just like that's the spot. Especially after what the heck just.
Yeah, you say this, but it also had some sort of inebriation involved with it, Mr. DM. So
Actually, you see him drink it, and he looks very much awake.
yeah, still doesn't work for me, but thank you. Hey, Nevatash, I heard you like coffee.
Will. Nevatash will. But. 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 Nevata That's better than the presentation is better than what I was imagining. I was just imagining just like he leans over, just looks like he just.
Yeah,
He looks at it like he's using out his beard.
The cat. No.
I just imagine like this, like freaking like the dragon soap valve or something. It pops his head and starts shooting it out like it's fucking espresso.
But yeah, you definitely notice that.
Only after he did the cat with a hairball thing
Oh,
a couple of times.
Exactly.
Yeah, you definitely notice that the human supposedly doesn't actually look like a human now that you see his beard off.
Yeah. But yeah, those that want are brave enough to try it's coffee. I mean, it's pretty good coffee.
All right, well, like
I mean, come on, in real life, people drink coffee that has been through a cat ass.
this is true, but I'm staying in character.
But I'm not one of them.
Like never. While when he takes his wig,
Well-
beard, whatever thing off, and I start to notice, it's like, okay, so who are you exactly?
I can say with a bit of certainty that Smidge would have downed her cup by now and is asking for a refill.
Yes.
And I'm sure Earl would be happy to oblige.
Yeah.
But he says like, "Who are you again?" And Aracel goes, "Oh, I'm deeply apologetic. My name is Aracel, and I am a former wizard's apprentice to a very powerful individual who, well, let's just say my name is Aracel. I am a wizard. I am practicing, and there is something." He points to the big old building in that keep that I quite frankly desire. And it is a form of knowledge, and I would like it. And if you would have me, I would like to help you barge in there, as long as I can keep what I am looking for.
Knowledge, you say?
I don't know if anybody actually heard you, Drake.
Knowledge, you say?
Yes, knowledge. You see, there was a ruin up north, and it was the contents of it were pilfered, and they were taken here, and I tracked it down, and then I got imprisoned, and I've been here for a while. These individuals that over here, they are zealots, as I've come to.
Would you be willing to share that knowledge?
Of course, of course. What, is that even a question? Knowledge is meant to be shared.
Like you say zealots, we say short
I'm in.
people.
Yeah,
Sure,
I was
why not?
gonna say, Cassidy has a new best friend.
I'm gonna say
Yeah. The somewhat darkly dressed warlock is now looking at you like you're a piece of meat. I'm joking.
Actually, yeah, he says he really enjoys knowledge, and I'm like, actually, I do have something for you if you enjoy. If you don't mind reading a little bit, and he pulls out from his hat the scroll he has on the cephaloans. He's like, I encountered these peculiar creatures over in the islands of what was the name? Anyway, these squid-like creatures, humanoid on top, there's the octopus on the bottom. They're
Those are my
fascinating.
friends.
Yes, and they're my friends too. They shared many details about their encounters and their experiences. We had a 3-hour chat, and they told me everything. It was quite fascinating. And, well, it was an amount of time. I don't know if it was 3 hours.
It was a bit of time, yeah. If anybody is interested in the lounge room, is to the Cephaloan right up.
Cool.
Which should be. Oh, I linked the wrong damn one.
There's more than a few.
Where did I put it?
And he sort of puts his hand to his chin. He's like, there's also more than a few books down in that man's library that I would enjoy getting my hands on. And he's kind of stroking his face, realizing that his beard is still off. And he's like, oh, Earl, is the young one, the tiny one, enjoying her?
She's probably running around like the Flash now.
I have no idea where.
Yeah.
She's hyper as.
I was gonna say in this party, she's probably the last one who needed the coffee.
Okay.
All right. Well, at some point, Earl then returns to his face, and he has a beard again. After a bit of conversation, he points out that he is indeed a moon elf rather than a human.
Just added the right link for the Cephaloan write up. Lord forbid I have everything organized and then I don't know what fucking folder it's in. So if anybody's interested, there's a write up on them as a race.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
So yeah, he shared those research notes with you, and when you're like, yes, quite, and you give it back, and then he puts it back in his head, puts his hat back on.
cool deal.
Ooh.
So you're worried about the ruins. That means we got all of the loot, right? Like that's what he was saying. We're good to not give him anything besides that thing, right?
What?
How much alcohol do you keep on you at any given point in time, Tori? Because that was.
I'm tired. I'm really fucking tired this week. No, what I'm saying is like, so yeah, you're good with getting your freaking notes back. That means we can get the rest of the loot, right?
If loot is what you desire, I have no problem letting you have all of it. Knowledge is important. Gold, it can be a means to acquire knowledge, but not the most important. Not as important as knowledge. I just need the knowledge.
I know that I like gold, so we're good. All right. So
Sounds like a plan then.
I guess we need to start heading out then. Do we? I guess we're.
Yeah, you guys can head on in the walls. It does not seem like anybody's come out of the keep. So.
All right, I'll take point then.
I'm probably gonna have to call it here.
You gotta go to work.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get called in, but the text messages are going off like crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Do we want to call it here then? Before it gets.
It's about the time we normally do.
I mean, if you guys want to continue on, y'all, I got no problem with y'all shadowing me.
Okay. I mean, you can catch. We'll go for a little whiles longer. At least get involved in it. I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that the party's actually together, and then I'd kind of like to get through one more quick thing because it's fun. It shouldn't take long.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with whatever you
Guys,
Okay.
guys,
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
My mother is a saint. She just sent me PlayStation 2, Max Payne, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Rock
PlayStation.
on.
The second one's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you later, Drake.
All right.
Yeah, you should have let me know. I had like a PlayStation 2 I had to give away with like Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 10, Kingdom Hearts 2.
No.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Later, guys.
Later.
See you later, Bubba.
Later.
Well, if you guys would like to, you can move on into the courtyard.
All right, so we're moving.
Yeah. Still not sure exactly what everybody can see. Okay, yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's kind of dark beyond the. Yeah, it's kind of dark beyond the walls. It's really the only. They're all freaking gnomes. Not a one of them needs a light source.
So like, I'll say I'll take left, Devatash take right. That way we can start covering more area.
Yeah.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Jesus. Just to make things a little simpler for people, because all this exploring, I'm just gonna whoop, whoop. There's a couple of stables and a front door. Just to you guys explore around for a moment. There's a couple of what look to be guardhouses or storehouses there against the wall. A couple of small stables off to the side. Some muddy ground and in general just the front door up there. The door is closed.
So where do we want to go? Do we want to go to the stuff on the left or right, or we want to go to the?
I would say probably check the houses and the stables.
Yeah, let's check the stables.
That way.
Okay.
We don't catch anything for
the stables have a couple. There's a couple of horses, and around back there's a few extra carriages and carts. And aside from feed and tack and harness, there's really nothing of value in the stables themselves. checking the guardhouses. The one here on the left, guardhouse. Oh, you're just exploring around. Okay. This storehouse up here against the wall on the left has actually been reinforced. Aracel can tell you that that's where he ended up being held captive, and they've kind of reinforced it as a prison. And is empty, save for like a cot, that kind of stuff. The one on the right does have a
Oh,
number of racks of weaponry, primarily like short swords, crossbows, light crossbows. Seems kind of a.
Aracel shouts, "Oh shit!" and he goes out to the cart again.
Forgot
Kind of hope. Gotta wonder if you were going to remember that or not.
So, are there any of those? Because there was some repeat fire. Are there any of those crossbows that they have?
Well, that's just it. Looking at the dead gnomes, the ones that you've killed, the crossbows in here seem to match exactly, but you can't figure out why they were repeating. That's a specific ability of the Artificer Act. Yeah. And, they just all happen to have that ability because I'm not making that many fucking variations of bad guys.
Aracel comes running back with a box, essentially, like a little chest, and he plops down next to one of y'all just so he can like make sure he's keeping up with everyone, and he starts like magically fiddling with it, essentially.
I don't know what you've got prepped, but you could try. It's arcane locked. But
Yeah, I
you could
know.
try like a dispel if you wanted to. I just don't know what you
Let me look at Arcane Lock so I can remember how to dispel it.
I think a knock does it, actually.
I didn't take knock, unfortunately. You can keep doing. I'll be doing this on the side.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like a wall of crossbows. There's probably 15 crossbows and barrels full of bolts. And probably about the same number of short swords that are serviceable, but none of them look more impressive than what you're already carrying.
Well, then I believe we are good to
Yeah.
check out.
All right. Yeah. Let's start checking out the place.
All right. So who's checking the door?
I guess I will.
Okay.
Does it?
All right. The door is not locked. It actually opens quite easily to your move. It opens up into a short, somewhat dark hallway that leads. Well, you would assume leads someplace. Your vision is somewhat limited.
Can I make an Arcana check to guess the password?
For the
For the Arcane Lock?
It wouldn't really be an Arcana check. It would be more of a knowledge check of the individual who locked it. Because I mean, it could be Farfignugan for all you know.
There's a.
Well, yeah, I've been around this guy for a week now.
Wait, we got Smidge. Why can't Smidge check our rogue stuff?
Oh, it's Arcane Lock. Oh, yeah, Smidge could go check the. He's checking his box, and that one's Arcane Locked. Even it wouldn't do any good.
Okay, well, just thought.
But she might have
I'm gonna
spells
say
that would help.
There's a pretty good chance that the password is God 1 2.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I spent a week with these guys of them preaching to me, so I want to try and make an intelligence check of some kind in order to guess the password.
Does Arcane Lock actually have a password?
Yeah, you can choose to set a password onto it that, when spoken within 5 feet of the box, it suppresses the arcane.
Hail Gumgot! Yeah.
You actually holler that?
Sure, why not?
It fucking pops open. I These guys are kind of fanatics. I was just deciding what would the role be.
He shouts that, and the box opens. He's like, thank you, and he takes out a book that. I don't know if you've been around wizards before. It is if you have, I don't know how many of you have been around wizards.
I had one in the party.
Yeah,
I'm sure they've all met one at some time or another.
sure.
Okay, he takes out what seems to be likely, by your best guess, his spell book, and he pops it into his hat. Oh, he does a quick once over of all the pages, make sure everything's still there, and then he pops it into his.
Yeah, it's all still there.
But Nevitash will tell you, you're welcome. I've been in a few of their heads. Literally.
Yeah, I've spent a week with them, but I don't think I would have simply had the initiative to have just shouted that.
Do I need to
fun.
make a dex save to avoid getting punched by fucking Scout?
Shit.
Brandy's down doing something, so I don't know.
Okay.
I
Let's
don't know.
just say yes.
You scream hell Gongot, she might shoot you.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I just instinctively shoot you.
For now, we'll just move on. But no, Smidge can go forward into the hallway if you guys would, and do a check because she has some abilities there.
There we go. Yeah.
And she's also disguised. Remember, she grabbed the Gomgot follower.
Oh yeah, she's got the cloak thing. Yeah. Let's see. She's pretty good at this. Well, she's fairly certain there's some kind of trap on the door to the north, which I don't think you can see yet, Tori.
Yeah. Okay. So she saw the. Okay.
Did you guys just leaving her in there all on her own?
I'm going in.
Leaving who and where?
We're going in.
Yeah.
Is there any way she can? I guess can she disarm it or try to disarm it?
She believes she does have the tool. Because if she was here, she would be doing this.
Oh.
She disarms it handily,
Yeah.
which kind of kills that I was going to do.
She retrieves the trap for use later.
Right.
Well, I was going to have some fun with you guys because it's not an overly large challenge for here, but they have rigged a trap, and we might do it to continue. There was a way for you guys to get around it, of course, but had you not, that was going to drop down on top of you.
Oh.
A bunch of corpses? Oh, a cube.
A gelatinous cube.
It's a slime.
It's the slime that swallows people.
Oh, nice.
Remind me to give Smidge a hug.
Now, that was the fun encounter I kind of wanted to do on the off chance that you guys had to fight that. Because while it's not overly dangerous, it's always a fun encounter. They're really like CR2.
Gotcha. All right, so
Yeah, it would have been. Just for those of you who don't know what a cube is, I'll share that.
Who doesn't know what a cube is?
Tori's pretty new to D&D in general.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But before we go too deep into here, since we are missing a couple of people, I wanted to try and do the cube. If you guys got to fight it, if not, we'll go ahead and call it here and settle them for next week.
Sounds good.
And hopefully we can get Brandy back on the actual headset again. Make things a little smoother.
Yep.
And it's partially because I want to make sure everybody's here, partially because the shit that's going to go down in here could be tough.
Gotcha.
And I'd like to have everybody present for that particular thing.
He looks over to Smidge and he's like, masterful work.
Yeah, rolled fucking crit on disarming that. Was really hoping for a low roll and it just dropped right on top of her.
And then we just hear, ew!
No one's Smith. She'd be like, I don't know what this is. I can try and talk while she's in it. Like,
She like
this
licks
is really
the
fun,
gelatinous
guys.
cube from the inside.
I can swim. I can swim outside of it.
All right. Well, we got the party together. Got some interesting things going on. A little bit of foreshadowing for shit that's going to come much later in the campaign. Probably actually in the second part of this campaign.
Gotcha.
And are a step closer to learning some shit about Gongists.
Cool deal.
And I couldn't quite drop a gelatinous cube on you guys.
You seem kind of bummed out by that.
It's a fun fight for me. I get to swallow people. You know.
The gelatinous cube wiggles sexually in your direction.
Oh god.
Okay, they're CR2, but if you guys make some bad rolls, they can do some serious fucking damage.
This is true.
So I don't know if I've told you guys before, but I love silly trap, especially when there's kobolds about. It's just fucking. I once had a pitfall trap that they dug out in this kobold, and I wanted to lure people into it, like specifically it. So there was like some glowing on this stalagmite, and when they got close enough to read it, it said like, if you could read this, it's too late. And so they fall into this pitfall trap, but it was dug by kobolds, and these were all like 6 foot tall people. So they basically just dropped into like knee deep holes. Like,
this is my nice version of the gelatinous cube trap. My mead version is a 30-foot drop into a 10-foot square spike pit, and then you drop the gelatinous cube in with them.
So much.
That's my mean version. That's the crap! Oh!
What did we do?
Yeah, that's the mean version. Or I've been known to have like a gelatinous cube on either end of a 10-foot hallway, just slowly moving towards the party.
Well, the reason I say I got to hug Midge is in my friend Ryan's camp, we entered into this, and we saw some from a ways away. We saw some like gear kind of just floating by itself or whatever. And I thought it was weird, so I was like, I am carefully walking forward. And because I didn't say I was actively looking, he didn't give me a perception to spot the guy.